What is going on, guys? My name is 4G. So today we do have a video where I wanted to go over pretty much every single battle pass skin that is a collab that is basically locked to time because it's from a battle pass that is considered something that they cannot re-release because for some reason Epic Games had to decide those were the rules. Again, they can always change those particular rules. I want to make that clear. I mean, maybe not with these specific collabs. I'm not exactly sure how that works behind the scenes when it comes to licensing and everything like that. But in my opinion, going through this list, just researching, first of all, I want to make it clear, there's a lot of different skins on here, so I could have gotten some of these things wrong when it comes to talking about particular alternative styles. I don't know. There are so many different skins in this game, but regardless, I do think when it comes to collabs, specific collabs, these should never be locked to time. I don't think any skin should be locked to time, but I really do not think out of every different skin that they're going to have, that collab skins should be something that they lock behind time. And I want to make it very clear from the beginning for anybody who just says that I'm making this video because I want particular skins to return for my own gain. I have every single battle pass skin. I have every single bonus skin from the battle pass. It doesn't matter. I have all of these different skins, and a lot of them I don't even care about personally, but I know that there's a lot of people who do care about it because you might really enjoy a particular franchise, and there is a character in the game that you really like, but you can't have access to it. Even though you are willing to spend the money, I think it's such a stupid thing when we're talking about virtual items. These are things that could always return. These are not limited time things that could not return because of limited production or anything like that. But regardless, we're almost 2 minutes in. Let's get right into it because this is a very long list. So going from the very beginning, the very first skin that we had in a battle pass that was a collab was Chapter 2 Season 2 with Deadpool. And Deadpool being a Marvel skin, which you'll see a trend here from what I've seen. Deadpool does have an alternative style, maybe multiple, I'm not exactly sure, but from what I looked into, I only saw the pen and ink version, which is basically a version that was released for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'm not going to go too in depth with it. It's not exactly the same skin. I mean, it's one of the closer ones out of all of these different variants they're going to have for different skins or whatever. It is the closest I can see, but it's basically a comic book version of Deadpool from what I remember. But anyways, moving on to Chapter 2 Season 3, we have Aquaman. There is absolutely no alternative styles to this now. So if you liked Aquaman, too bad you didn't play in 2020. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, moving on to the big one here that a lot of people talk about because, of course, this is the very first battle pass that was filled with only collab skins. That is Chapter 2 Season 4. We had Iron Man, which is a big one, of course. We've had multiple different variants of it. I do know that there was the Mark 45 in the item shop, so you can get that. And I'm not sure if there was actually any other alternatives when it comes to that. I guess War Machine is very close, but it's not exactly the same thing as Iron Man. We had Wolverine, which of course, again, there was the pen and ink variant that was very similar to the Deadpool one that I talked about. Mystique, from what I could tell, from what I could look into, there was absolutely no alternatives. So if you wanted a Mystique skin and you didn't play in 2020, 5 years ago, too bad. Thor does have the Odinson, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, the Odinson variant of Thor, but looking at these side by side, these aren't even the same skin. One is, I believe, the comic book version, and then one, I don't even know, is it from a movie? I don't watch every single Marvel movie, all right? You know, it's not Spider-Man or Iron Man. I don't usually watch it if I'm being 100% honest, but regardless, I do think these types of things need to return because you can make something that is technically the same skin, but it's not the same skin. It's a totally different variant of it. It's just the same in name, in my opinion. But anyways, moving on, we have Groot. And it's not exactly the same thing. It does have an alternative, not an item shop variant, but it's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy pack. And this could come and go whenever, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's not currently available. I believe it was available. Was it last year? I think it was last year it was available. I don't really remember. But this is something, I guess, packs do come and go. So this is a potential way you could get it if you wanted it. Doctor Doom, they did recently have in the Chapter 5 Season 4 Battle Pass, which was the very first one that they actually did officially announce a change with how they are going to be doing things, where basically after 18 months of that battle pass, there is a chance that they could bring back these skins to the item shop. So the Doctor Doom variant that is in the Chapter 5 Season 4 battle pass may be able to return, and that is an alternative. But the one from Chapter 2, too bad, you don't get access to it. And then the Storm skin, no alternatives. She-Hulk, no alternatives. I think this is the craziest thing when it comes to these. There's so many different collabs that they've done over time that it's very difficult probably to just make alternatives for every single one of them. The Mandalorian, there is actually a Mandalorian warrior skin in the item shop, so there is at least an alternative for this particular skin. As you can see, it's the big Marvel skins and the big Star Wars skins. Those are usually the ones that get alternatives, but other than that, not so much from what I've been seeing. They have the Predator skin, nothing, no alternative from what I could tell. Lara Croft finally did get a new style, as it's called the 2000s variant, and based off that name, it is not the modern day Lara Croft, so if you like the modern day games and you wanted the Lara Croft from those games, you had to play in Chapter 2 Season 6. Rebirth Raven, again, no alternatives that I can see. I could be wrong about that. I feel like I have seen an item shop version of this skin, but I guess I'm wrong because I could not find any sort of skin that wasn't the Battle Pass for this particular character. But moving on to Chapter 2 Season 7, we had Rick from Rick and Morty. Again, don't see any alternatives. I've seen other skins from that, like Morty himself, but not Rick. If you wanted Rick, one of the main characters, you had to play Chapter 2 Season 7. Superman, up until recently, there was no alternatives, but of course, with the most recent Chapter 6 Season 3 Battle Pass, there is a brand new version of that, and again, because it's a newer Battle Pass, even after this season, you should be able to get it eventually down the road. They'll put it into the item shop. At least there's that. I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but yeah. Moving on, we have Carnage, no alternatives that I'm aware of. Spider-Man, there's a bunch of different alternatives, but it's still, in my opinion, none of them hit the same as the Chapter 3 Season 1 Battle Pass version, but regardless, there is the No Way Home Spider-Man, which is the Tom Holland version, Spider-Punk, Miles Morales, Noir, and 2099. There might be even more. I have no idea. They just keep pumping them out, but they're never ever as good as the original comic book look, in my opinion. And that's kind of how it goes. That even went for the Iron Man version as well. Unless they made Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., I'm not gonna lie, that would be a peak version of Iron Man, but they so far have not done that, at least not to my knowledge. Moving forward to Chapter 3 Season 2, we have Doctor Strange, no alternatives. And as far as I'm aware, I look for all of these different skins. I was looking pretty in depth. Moving on to Chapter 3 Season 3, Darth Vader. There is a samurai version that they recently, or I believe it was recent, I don't know, it was a few months ago, that they released this version, the samurai version, into the item shop, and I do think this is actually a really cool version of it, but still, I mean, you can't really beat the iconic look of these original characters. It really does suck that they're locked to time. I would understand if they locked the variant versions of them to a battle pass, okay, whatever, but the actual original styles, they should just be in the actual shop or in a pack, something available consistently, or has the ability to release again in the future, at least based off their rules. Again, they could possibly release some of these things if they wanted to, or renegotiate deals. I'm sure they could do something, but they're not choosing to do that currently. Spider-Gwen in Chapter 3 Season 4, there is no alternative currently as far as I'm aware. Moving over to Chapter 4, because this video is getting pretty long. Chapter 4 Season 1, we had Geralt, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, I don't know. There's no alternative to this skin, and Doomslayer also no alternative. So, you know, these are two big popular video games right here, so no access to that. Eren Yeager, no alternatives. Optimus Prime, no alternatives. And then going past Chapter 4, we're in Chapter 5 now. Peter Griffin, a big one right there, zero alternatives. I mean, to be fair, they could release a real Peter Griffin, because this does not look like Peter Griffin to me. Let's be completely real. Why is he buff? Doesn't make sense to me. But maybe they'll release an actual Peter Griffin in the future into the item shop, but so far they have not done so. Solid Snake, also no alternatives. Korra from Avatar, no alternatives. The T-60 power armor from Fallout, no alternatives. And Magneto, no alternatives. So that is the end of the seasons where they didn't update their rules yet. So anything beyond that, which would be Chapter 5, Season 4, and newer, they've already mentioned that they could bring these skins into the shop, and I do believe they need to change their policies when it comes to the rest of these skins. Maybe if you have to renegotiate some of the deals when it comes to the owners of these skins, if possible. Obviously, maybe not every one of them is possible to bring back, I don't know. I highly doubt that, especially if you have item shop variants of these particular skins. I don't think that there'd be any sort of legal problems, or I don't know. Again, I could be wrong about all that. I don't know any of that, the behind the scenes. I just think that it's absolutely interesting that I have a whole 10-minute video right now that I just listed out. I barely even said much more, just listed out all the different skins that are no longer available, and if you didn't play in these seasons, you will never get access to these characters. And I just think that's kind of sad, you know, like regardless of what you could say, it's just a skin, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of sad though, like why are we releasing content and then locking it to time? I don't think that that's the way that things should go in the future, and I'm glad that they're changing it for future skins or for future battle passes, and for, well, not just future, but also now the last couple battle passes. But I do hope that they can maybe one day change this up and get at least some of these back into the game for people who missed out on it. I don't think that locking it away forever is a good business move either. I think it was in the moment. You know, you saw Spider-Man, you have to buy it. You got to buy tiers because, oh, the season's almost over and I'm going to miss out forever. I don't think that that really works in the long term. It works in the short term, but in the long term, it doesn't. And I think Epic Games finally knows that. But regardless, I don't know if they're going to change anything. Let's just hope one day they do. But anyways, that is going to wrap up this video. Which Battle Pass skin that's on this list that you would like to see return? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you guys enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.